An important part of the AP Computer Science Principle course is programming. And something very important in that is the concept of an if statement. This is episode 2 in our video series. So the concept we're showing today is this if statement that runs some code if something is true. And that's going to be either true or false. So we first of all need to look at this logic on how to use this true or false in an if statement. And then we're going to look at the if statement in Python and in pseudocode. And also we're going to look at the if, else and if, elif, else statements. Simple logic. If it's raining, use an umbrella. If you're hungry, eat something. If it's raining, use an umbrella. If it's not, you don't need the umbrella. If you're hungry, eat something. If you're not hungry, you don't need to eat anything. If left, go left. If it's true, you go left. If it's false, you don't go left. If right, go right. If it's true, go right. If it's false, don't go right. If back, do U-turn. If it's true, U-turn. If it's false, you don't. If it's the morning, it's AM. Else, it's PM. We need the else to know it's PM. Coffee, would you like a cup? If you want it white, we need to add milk. If you don't want it white, we don't need to know about the milk. We don't need the else. If left, go left. Else, go right. True, we go left. False, we go right. Let's have some simple practice. If left, go left. Is that true or false? If right, go right. True or false? The solutions. First one, car went left, so it's true. Second one, the car did not go right, so it's false. Let's look at the if statement. Here's a simple print statement we're used to. We use the word if before. The print statement is now moved over. There's a space in front of it. And this is called an indentation. Now we have the condition. X is less than 10. So that's going to be true or false. Finally, we have a colon. That's the if statement. Here's an example. If X is less than 10, print message. X is 6, so we print the message. That's the output. X is 21. Now there's no output because X is not less than 10. That's false. What about if else statement? Here X is less than 10, so we print the message. Here X is not less than 10, so we'll print new message as part of the else. Some terms. Here we have some code. The X less than 10 is the condition, which is true or false. We have the code underneath that has the space before it, the indentation, and that's the if statement. Boolean is a data type, and that has the value of either true or false. So now we understand the if statement, let's have a look at it inside Python and also the pseudocode. So we start off with the simple if statement. here in Python we have x equals 10. Now the if statement, if x is greater than 8, it will print x, so it prints 10. The second piece of code says greater than or equal to. So 10 is greater than 8, so it still prints 10. Here the operators are changed to less than. So now if x is less than 8, print x. Well, that will print nothing because it's not less than 8. The same, x is not less than or equal to 8. So that will also print nothing. So in pseudocode, these symbols equals, not equals, greater than, less than, greater than, equal to, less than and equal to are called comparison operators. And we can use them in the if statement. So this is pseudocode for an if statement. You can see we've got the if, we've got the condition in brackets, then we've got curly brackets, and inside these curly brackets is our code. In this case, just display x. Now Boolean we've mentioned. So Boolean is just a data type that has a value true or false. So an integer is the data type, a string is a data type, a Boolean is a data type. So instead of making x equals 7 or x equal hello, we can make it equal true. If x, if true, print x, so that will print true. Here x is false. So if x is true, print x. Well, it's not true, so that won't print anything. So we can use Boolean, true or false, inside a variable. Equals equals, not equals is not equals. What does that mean? Well, here we want to check to see if x is the same as 8. We don't just use one equal sign, we use 2. So to make a variable have the value 8, we use one equal sign, but in an if statement to check to see if x is the same as 8, in Python we use 2 equal signs. So if x is the same as 8, print x, so it prints 8. Now the opposite of that is not equal, not the same as. So we can use the exclamation mark and equal sign in Python. So here, if x is not equal to 8, print x. So that will print nothing. Again, we've just changed the value of x to 10. So the first one, is x the same as 8? No, it's not. So that's not going to print anything. If x does not equal 8, print x. Well, x equals 10, so that will print 10. So we've got the same as and not the same as. 2 equal signs rather than 1. So this is a common error when you're coding. So in Python, we've got the 2 equal signs, but yet in pseudocode, we haven't. So you have to be careful. If else statement. So here in Python, we've got x equal 10. We've got if x is greater than 8, print x, the same as before, but we've also added else, print no. So in this case, it doesn't make a difference. We just print 10. Now what happens if x is less than 8, print x? Well, x is not less than 8. So now, because that's false, we do the code in the else part. So that prints no. So that's an if-else statement in Python. Again, in pseudocode, we've got our if, we've got our condition in brackets, and we've got our code in curly brackets, as we did in the if statement. But now we've also added the else part. So the else is very similar to the if part, if you like, with the curly brackets around the code. Indentation. So why use space? Well, in other languages we had these curly brackets or some form of way of knowing which block of code is under the if statement or the else part. So in our example here, you can see that we've got 2 print statements in the if part, 2 print statements in the else part, but we've got the print statement print outside. Now there's no space in front of that, no indentation, so we know that's not part of the else code. So that makes a difference in the programming logic. So we need to know about that space, that indentation. if, elif, else statement. Here we've got x is got the value 0, and we've got an if statement. If x is greater than 0, we've got an elif, which is kind of a bit like an else and an if put together. So if x is less than 0, print negative. Now we've also got an else part. So here, if x is over 0, it's going to print positive. If it's under 0, it's going to print negative. And if it is 0, it's going to print 0. So you can see it prints 0. Now, if we change that, you can see it can print positive or negative. So we can change the value of x, and we can see we have 3 choices here with an if, an elif, or an else statement. If you liked that video and want to help us, then please like, and if you're enjoying these videos, you want to know when they are released, please hit subscribe and notification bell, and you'll be told of these videos when they come out. And it also helps us, so it's great.